In this video, we will look at processing an HTML form and sending the data not only to an email address, but also displaying it on the web page using a PHP script that uses the built-in mail function. So here I have an HTML form, and I just am concerned with the HTML, therefore there is really no layout involved. So if I were to code in some information here, and let's see how much you can fill in. I'll check a couple boxes. And one thing you need to be concerned with when you're sending form data is how the form elements are set up. The only two form elements that come into question would be a group of checkboxes or a multiple drop-down list. Now, we do not have a multiple drop-down list, so we don't have an issue, because what you are concerned with is the name value pairs are being sent across. So here we have one name and one value being sent. Here we have one value for this name, one value and one name for the text boxes. However, if these are coded as a group, then they're sent across together, and you need to have some kind of code in place to work with that. However, if they all have separate names, there's not a problem. So I have filled out just about everything, and if I submit the form, you see that it is going to my email.php, but it also is outputting HTML. So here, thank you, your message has been received, this is what you sent, and these are the name value pairs just being echoed back. I am literally using the name attributes. Now, you could do this a little bit more elegantly by retrieving the individual ones and changing the name attribute and displaying it in a nicer fashion. However, I'm doing it in a very simple manner in order for you to understand how this works. So let's take a look at the PHP code here. And just to let you know, if you wanted to retrieve the individual values, it's $_post and the name. You can store it in a variable and you can do it that way. I have two variables I'm using and I've initialized them to nothing. I'm starting out with checking to make sure that my request came from a form using post. I could have also tested using the submit button. And now I have a very simple for each loop at the beginning of my if in the event that it returns true, which it does. So for each $post as $name, so we're looking at the value that's paired with the name. And here I said if the $value is equal to nothing. We don't want to be echoing back values that are empty. For example, none of these fields are required. So we only want to echo back values where the name has a value. Now I have two variables. One variable is for the email, one variable is for the web page. And here I have building a string, the dot equal operator, because what we're doing, the for each, we're looping through each name value pair that's being sent. And as long as there is a value in there, we're going to use the sprintf PHP function. We've looked at this earlier. And the way that this function works, we have a percent and then a variable and another percent variable. And what these are placeholders, because there's two of them. This is a placeholder for the first variable we're sending, and this is the second variable. So the first variable is $name, coming from our $post as $name. The second one is $value, however, we're concatenating an empty space in front of it. And what we're doing here, we have this colon. So if you remember how the output looked, and let's take a look at it. Here we have name, colon, space, value. So this is what our sprintf function is doing. It's grabbing those name value pairs, formatting them, and I'm building a string with that. Now the only difference between these two, the one for the email, because I'm not generating HTML email, which I could, I have my carriage return. The ones that I am generating HTML email, I have a break and then my carriage return, my \n, my escape character. Now, here is the mail function. And there's several ways that you could set this up. And I just have if mail, meaning if the mail gets sent, then we're going to send it, else we have this echo, sorry, the message cannot be sent. The mail function, it's built into PHP, it works on every server. It does not authenticate. However, it allows you to send mail on any server. You might not have an email account on that server if you're hosting a website on it. This is the to address. This is who it's being sent to. This would be the owner of the form. It would be their address. The second parameter is the form subject. And the third parameter is the actual message that's being sent. And then here we have the from. And notice it's coded in with the word from in there. If you've ever received form email that says do not reply, you don't have to have a real email address in here, and that's how they do the spam stuff. You can't reply back to it, so you don't really know who sent it. So I have if the mail gets sent, then in my curly braces, my return true block, now I'm echoing back, thank you, your message has been received, this is what you have sent, etc. And here's my echo for my variable message 2. So message 2 is going to the website, message is going to my email. And in the event that there's a problem, there's my else, here's my ending. So all of this is happening if the server is the underscore post. Else we give them a message to redirect them to the form URL. Now, just to let you know, I am echoing these back on the web page so that you can see how that works. However, we could have just directed them to a thank you page. That would have worked also. So this is relatively very easy and very simple to do. The to address, the owner of the form, the subject line in the email, the data in the body, and the from. Here's my email, and here is my do not reply at nowhere.com. You can see that there. Notice there's my subject, form data results, and if I click on this email, here we are. So I have sent email to myself from my form, and I have also given the user a message outputting the values that they have entered on the form. And if I look at the source code here, you can see that it is lined up, and I do have my HTML breaks. I could have formatted it a little nicer with tabs. I just wanted to give you the basic essential coding that you need in order to use the built-in mail function.